I'm interviewing Randy Fraser, who is the co-founder of the Boston Box Lacrosse League, and we play up in Hingham, Massachusetts. Now, Randy, how did you come up with the idea for doing this league, and about how long ago did you start it?
Well, the league originally started as Boston Blazers Developmental League. So the idea being that the NLL Boston Blazers were in Boston, and we wanted to start to develop some local talent. So we had a local talent pool to pull for the team. So we started the league back then, and the league started mainly with the best field players from New England, from the Boston area, and slowly developed into more than just a developmental league, as we were really only pulling maybe 5 guys from the entire league just to try out for the team in the beginning, to its own identity and having its own kind of following and its own kind of root purpose, and the purpose being ultimately was to provide the players of Boston the enjoyment to play box lacrosse. Box lacrosse is a rare gem in the U.S. right now. It's only played in select areas, and me having the passion and a small group of guys having the passion here up in New England, I wanted to share it, and this was a great way to do it. And I feel like we've really turned a lot of guys onto box and how fun it is, and a lot of guys are really enjoying it.
Now, you're able to keep a lot of players that still play at a pretty high level. You have good partnerships with the Voyagers up in Vermont, players that played on both the Rockhoppers and the Kingfish at the NALL. How do you think you've been able to really enforce the box type of playing, because it's really easy to fall back on field tendencies, the different type of offenses and defense that you have to run?
Right. Well, two questions I kind of heard there. First, having to do with the other teams. The other teams are those professional teams. Highest aspiration being the NLL, and then the NALL and the other minor leagues in the States, and then the Vermont Voyagers as well. When you have that goal of a higher level, it draws more players, and you get more interest, because ultimately the guys, the lacrosse players are pretty driven. They want to play at the highest level possible, and if there's high-level box lacrosse available to them, this is a means for them to kind of continue their career, get better at it, get experience at it. Whenever anybody's talking about box lacrosse, and Americans, experience is such an important word, and this is a great place to get that experience. And the second part of that question, has really been important from us from the beginning to play box lacrosse, to play box-style lacrosse with pick and rolls, cross checks, a lot of picking, a lot of physical play, the correct crease play, correct size goals, having good goaltenders with the right equipment, having excellent officials. And that's one thing we have, is we have great officials that keep control and know how to call the game properly. And it's the culture of the league is really the veteran players help out the new guys, and the culture of the league is to play box lacrosse, to play the best style of box lacrosse. And our guys all watch the NLL games, and any box that they get a chance to watch to kind of learn, and it's great to see it out here on the floor.
Now, you mentioned the goaltenders. You do have a pretty good stable of goaltenders that have rotated through the league. It's nice because you don't just have 2 goaltenders that play all the games. You do seem to have a pretty good number that can rotate in and out as needed. How have you been able to really tag people for being interested, having the right padding, knowing the right style of play, to keep that as a big part of the league?
Yeah, that's a good one. Goaltending is really important, and the equipment is really the biggest barrier. Having to, I think, $2,000 probably would run you if you were going to buy a new set of uppers and lowers and all the gear that you needed. Again, the Boston Blazers were integral, really important for us to get started. In the beginning, we had Anthony Cosmo and Nick Rose, and Mike Poulin. And when they got their new goalie gear here in Boston, they were nice enough to hand me down their old gear, and we were able to get it to some of the players here. Joe Evans, for example, was wearing Cosmos gear for a while. I think Chuck Jaffe was wearing some gear too. So getting that gear and getting some guys started, And then once the passion and the bug is kind of planted in guys, when that gear wore out, they ended up purchasing their own gear and just been recruiting and building that stable of goalies.
Good. And what do you really define as success for the league? So do you have any ongoing goals of what you try to do? How do you try to measure of if the league's being a good thing still?
Yeah, I think that's a good question too. We really have measured success in the past with the quality of the play, the enjoyment of the players, and having a competitive balance in the league. We've had 4 teams. We've had as many as 5 teams in the league. This year we're back at 4. Again, we could go to 6 teams. We have enough guys to go to 6 teams, but with our goal being keeping the quality of play high, we just right now we're going to keep it at 4. Our hopes are to get it up to 6, but we're not going to sacrifice the play, or we're not going to also put out a team that's going to go over. Although that's happened in our 4-game scene at times. The idea is to keep it competitive, keep it fun for everybody, and that's the main goal.
All right, so let's shift gears a little bit. We just wrapped up the 3rd week of play so far. Why don't you talk about what are the teams, how are they put together this year, and how are they looking right now?
Wow, so we're 3 weeks into the league, and so far, the Mega Men, they're undefeated. They kind of reloaded their roster. They merged with the Orphans. They're playing really, really, really well. A solid defense. They got a really good front end. They got some new guys. Maggio over there with Brian Bendig and Danny Hetler on the right side. And, they're potent offense, and then maybe their weakness has been defense in the past. They have some really athletic guys that are kind of new to the team, learning the game, with some veterans that they already had. They've had some stellar goaltending from Chris Hetler. So far they're looking. Would they win by tonight? They had another blowout tonight, so they're looking head and shoulders above everybody right now. Let's see, sitting behind them now is Bullseye. We lost to Bullseye tonight. Tough game that we thought we would be able to win. Our offense struggled tonight. They played really good on defense. Ordo faced off for them. I think they probably won 80% of the face-offs. And I tell you, they're a really good group. I don't know a lot of the names, but I'm sure you probably will look at the stats and maybe come back with some of the names. But they have some really good players. A couple Cannons helmets out there, and some athletic guys. And, they had a really good goalie tonight. Who was in net tonight for them? Brooksy was in net for them tonight, and Brooksy played out of his mind. So they're going to be good. They're going to be good all session. And then I think the way it sits right now, Blazers are 3rd. We struggled week 1, lost to Mega Men by 2 goals. Last week we had a big win against Primetime. This week hoping we were going to come out big, but we did not. And we got a lot of work to do to catch up to where the Mega Men are right now. And then Primetime is struggling a little bit. They're 0-3. They are they're hurting right now because they lost a few of their big guns, and they're trying to figure out their chemistry on offense. They're a team that battles hard. A good goalie with Mike in net, and I'm sure they'll figure things out and make it tough down the stretch.
All right, so that's where we sit right now. What are you looking forward to see over the next couple weeks? Do you think any of the teams are primed to make a jump in the standings, or are you expecting a lot more of the close games for just the rest of the league?
Well, I think now, being through week 3, all the teams have played each other, so it's always interesting to see how teams adjust on this second round of contests. So I think we'll just have to see how it shakes out, and see. For the Blazers, we need to get Marty Bowes going, and Brandon Doobie in there, and score some more goals. I don't know. We put up 5 tonight.
Yeah,
we have to have more goals than that. And, so as far as the Blazers go, we're looking to improve on offense and I think at this point in the season, everyone just kind of get their chemistry down. One thing about the league is we all make the playoffs. We're kind of just playing for seeds for the playoffs and trying to play your best lacrosse as you come down to the end, the middle and the end of the season.
All right. So those are all the questions I had. Is there anything else that you wanted to get out there for information about the league or any other things you wanted to share?
Just our website, bostonboxlax.com. We got our Twitters out there, it's Boston Box Lax. We're on Facebook, and just keep an eye out for us. We're pretty interesting and a lot of fun up here.
All right, and also a thing that you can check out on the website is they do regularly post some YouTube videos of gameplay. So if you want to actually see some of the action for yourself through the various sessions, you can go back and see previous playoff games and regular season games from the different teams. So definitely check out the website, and we will have more for you next week. All right, thank you, Randy.
Thank you.